Thank you very much for the nice introduction. And thank you very much to ISA for inviting me to moderate this panel, which for me is a very important panel, as you'll see in a moment. And congratulations to the ISA team for a great show. Very nice conference, very stimulating. So, interoperability, oh, a complex word. So, yes, and a complex sell when we started way back in the old days when interoperability meant machines talking to one another, and politicians would say, "Don't bother me with the details, that's only technical." But over time, things have changed, things have moved on, data has become important, systems are talking to one another, information exchange is mentioned in political documents. So now, interoperability is understood. And it means nothing more and nothing less than the ability to work together and exchange information using digital technologies. That's it. And politicians understand that now. Even politicians, as Mario pointed out, everybody is, even politicians are digital today. And you can see that from the GovTech conference in Paris just over 2 weeks ago. So first of all, isn't it interesting that they've invented such a nice term as GovTech? At long last, public administrations are kind of in the same world on this par with FinTech. So public administrations have become more confident and more sure of themselves, and inventing such a term is a good way to bring home to politicians and the general population that technology is there to provide better public services for the social well-being of everybody, citizens and businesses. And Vice President Ansip said at that dinner, at that conference, very nice phrase. He focused on the creation of a European data space, so not just data economy, data space, economy and society, and the digitalization of public services using effective digital ID. Very nice, succinct summary of really what we are attempting to do and will be doing over the next years. Very positive. And you can see from that that climate change, environment, cybersecurity, all these issues really need everybody to work together and share and exchange information. The problem is what Mr. Ansip said after that statement. He said, "I am disappointed in the rollout of EIDAS because of lack of legal frameworks." So not quite as positive as one would have expected. Now, for most of the people in this audience, that's a very interesting thing to say, because it means there's no technical interoperability problems, there's no semantic interoperability problems, there's no organizational interoperability problems around EIDAS. So it's a very strong message. And it's a major wake-up call for everybody, because of what Peter and Mario said this morning about things accelerating. Free flow of data, once-only principle, single digital gateway. These are all regulations that are going to require legal frameworks ASAP. So the question for the panel here today is a lack of legal interoperability hindering the rollout of these borderless digital services that we believe in and which are linked to serving citizens and businesses? What are the obstacles to arranging for better legal interoperability? How have they been addressed? What are the actions that ISA should identify in the next years to make sure that legal interoperability becomes the concern, the shared concern of the informaticiens and the legislators? And to discuss that, we have a panel to address those issues from administration, from business, and from policy areas. And to look into seeing how these systems and the legal interoperability requirements are needed to meet the Tallinn Declaration around user centricity and around the necessity to respect subsidiarity at European, federal, regional and local levels. So these are the questions and the issues that we want to address in this panel and see with you what recommendations we can derive which would be useful to Emmanuel and Mario and Natalia in putting together the work programme for ISA over the next years, the second half of the programme to 2020. So we have an interesting panel which will start with Sofia Sozzani from the ISA unit, where she is responsible for legal interoperability actions, and she has intimate experience of the Hungarian administration, which she can bring to play at European level. We have Carsten Smith, who started out life in the Ministry of Justice in North Rhine-Westphalia, and has moved on now to become a lecturer in the Tallinn Technical University around sustainability and legal interoperability. So marrying the reality on the ground from a public administration with the sustainability issues that are necessary to put in place long-term mission-critical systems respecting legal requirements across member states. Representing business, we have Mikhail Pishoki, who's the CEO of Business Reporting Advisory Group, which is a company working in the domain of interoperability policy, data, technologies for the regulatory organizations in the financial services sector. So he will explain what it is like to deliver interoperability at the coalface of fintech, which will give us an interesting insight into what could be the way to create communities beyond the normal communities that ISA works with up to now. And finally, we will have Andrea Renda from CEPIS, who's a senior research fellow there, and since last year is the Google chair in digital innovation at the College of Europe in Bruges. And he will pull things together and give us a view to the future and how we will build these systems and deliver what is expected of us by politicians, by citizens in this digital world that we all now live in. So with that introduction, I will ask Sofia to give an overview of the current situation inside the ISA programme, which will be the context for the other three contributions.